Want to know exactly how well a $300 race drone is going to hold up in a hard crash? Well, stay tuned because that's what happens. G'day, Stu here from UAVfutures, and today, well, this is the big one. This is the part 2 review of the Holybro Kopis, whatever it's called. This is the part 2 review of this bad boy, which is a $300 bind and fly. Super easy to get set up, rip around, and have a ball with. Now, if you haven't seen part 1, I'll leave a link up here somewhere. Go and watch that video, but this is the part 2 video. This is where it counts. We're going to take it out to the field. I'll show you guys some HD footage of this thing ripping around, and it does rip around. We'll also hand it over to Grumpy Trev, and then give it over to Crash Test Cal, hit it with the speed gun and see just how fast this can go. Now, a little bit of deja vu for me because I recorded this intro scene and then I have no idea where that file's gone, so I must have deleted it. So I've had to go back in time. That's why it's got these different props on here and it's looking a little bit worse for wear because, spoiler alert, we do have a pretty major crash, but you guys are going to see that, so let's waste no time, cut out to the field and get on with it in 3, 2, 1, boop! Alright, this is the Kopis 1 flight. Alrighty, so let's jump in with the good stuff straight away. So we're having a bit of a race against Grumpy Trev and Crash Test Cal right here, and we'll get their opinions in a minute. But I thought this one was pretty fun. I got a bit excited and missed the gate, and we're also going to have a close-up look at some Australian native trees and have a look at a bit of a nasty crash, which sort of didn't do well with my camera. And I will show you some other flight footage as well, but I just thought this was a funny flight that you guys might like to see. Now, as far as its flight characteristics go, you know, there's a few things that I want to point out. Number one, this quad really is smooth, so it's silk smooth when you're flying around. It feels fantastic. It's out of the box. There's some close-ups of some native Australian gum trees, and there goes Crash Test Cal, or maybe it was Grumpy Trev, but this thing, it is so silky smooth when you're flying around, even if we can't see much with that leaf on the screen. It was covering some of the FPV camera as well, but it just didn't have the crazy speed that you're sort of hoping when you're going to pay $300 for an FPV racer. Now, in a moment, this was probably my biggest gripe. It was starting to rain as well, so it wasn't the best flight experience, but this was my biggest gripe. I didn't like the camera protection on it, and right there, look, it was a bit of a heavy crash, and that one actually resulted in a cracked lens, which was a bit of a shame. A bit of damage. No wonder the mount broke. Now, this is some other footage flying around. We've upgraded. I've put the Dell Cyclones, the 46s on the front, and I feel like that's a much better fit for these motors. You know, it might not be as silky smooth, but you get a bit more of a performance boost and definitely a bit more thrust, especially when you're doing some of those hairpin turns and that sort of jazz. Now, for me, I guess, would I recommend this quad? It's really difficult because it flies great and it is a great beginner quad. Beginners, they don't need speed so much, but they need the control, and this thing's got it in spades. It really is a pleasure to fly around, even if it isn't that crazy flat-out speeds, but at the same time, it's still like $300 and you don't have that camera protection, and if you're just getting this and you don't know much about replacing parts or anything like that, that part can be a bit of a shame. Luckily, we had a spare lens in the field. But yeah, I would say it's a bit hit and miss, because for $300 you could get almost 2 Fury B X 215 Pros, and if you really want like a hardcore racer, it's also in the same league as, like, the same price range sort of as the GT2, Diatone's GT2, which is an absolute race monster. I'll put a little card on the screen that you guys can go watch that video as well, if you just want one that's all about sort of insanity speeds, but that one will kill your battery. Now, you did get good flight times on this. I think overall it's a pretty decent quad. It's just got a few little things that I would like to fix up, so the camera protection, and most importantly, can we just, I can see where the price comes in, but it's still pretty expensive, and I'm not sure if that's the right market, if that's what people should be going for one of these first-time races. Anyway, what we should do, let's hand it over to Grumpy Trev, the man himself, and see what he thinks about the Kopis 1.
Well, I'll get it, Stu.
Thanks, Trevor. It doesn't matter about the landing, it's just the flights. Okay, Trevor, what do you think of the Kopis? We'll put the radio down here, flying Tyrannus today. It feels good to be back. What do you think of the Kopis, however you say it? How do you say this one, Trev?
Kopis 1.
Okay, so what do you think of this, before you fly it around?
It looks really nice. A little bit of flex in the frame, but gee, it's a nice looking frame. Not too sure about the ESCs underneath. I reckon how these wires come through, you hit the ground hard enough, you're going to chop your wires a bit, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. It looks like it flies okay. Camera position's a bit of a worry for me. I'll probably break that real quick, but anyway, let's hope I don't break this one. But we'll give it a fly, it looks alright. Let's plug it in and see if I can break it.
No, let's not break it, because I like flying this place.
Yeah, nice camera, I like it already. Nice and clear. Oh, still got to get used to this radio. It's got some grunt already. Now I know what everyone was talking about. Yes, jeez, quite impressive. Very responsive, smooth. This is pretty cool. Oh, look, I don't know the only thing about this. Whoops, trees, lots of trees. It's really responsive. It's fast. The camera is very clear. I like that. Well, it's got a good run cam in it. Look, it's just nice to fly. Absolutely no oscillations. Nice and clear. Good, very nice OSD. Look, I like this thing, but I just think there's a lot of other quads in this price bracket that are better, and there's some that are cheaper that are just as good as this. I find it hard to see myself paying $300 for something like this, where I can get something that flies just as good cheaper. But look, it's nice, it looks good, flies well.
Do you think Holybro's done a good job upgrading from when we did that? Remember we did that red thing like about a year ago or something?
Oh yeah, this is, look, they've done a great job. The components in this are really good. Look, if you want a good quad and you've got the money to spend, you can't go past this. This is good value for good quality components.
Give this a grumpy Trev rating out of 10 for performance.
Probably I'd give this an 8.5.
What about for value for $300?
Look, value, no, it's about a 7. I really find it hard to see the value in it, even though it's got good components in it.
Do you think, here's a good one, so a lot of people want to know, you know, is it worth twice the price of the Fury B X215?
No, I'd rather have 2 Fury Bs, for sure. But yeah, no ifs or buts. If I had $300 to spend and it was going to be on this or the Fury B, I'd buy 2 Fury Bs. God, you got a whole case of spare parts for one quad at the same time, so how can you go wrong?
In saying all that, is this one still better though? If you only had to pick one and price wasn't an issue, is this one better?
Oh yeah, the build quality and components on this are way better than the Fury B, but if you want a good quad that doesn't look like it's going to break, I'm going to find it pretty hard to break this one. Maybe the camera, the ESCs. I'm probably more worried about the how the wires come through under the arms at the front, underneath. That's a bit of a sore point for me, but other than that, not bad.
What happened?
That was just, I just want to see if you can go and get it. You need the exercise.
All right. Trevor's just crashed, but we'll go get it and then sort of wrap it up with his final thoughts. All right, Trevor, so final thoughts. Now you've made it all dirty.
Oh, look, it's got a bit of grass on there. Look, it's a great little quad, but I reckon all the hype going about this thing is probably a bit too much hype. It's not as good as what everyone's making out it to be, but it's okay. But it's not worth $300. When you compare this with like a GT, for instance. I'd have a GT anyway over this, but anyway.
All right,
see what happens.
Let's hit it with Speed Gun Sally. Okay, time to hit it with Speed Gun Sally. Crash test Cal's ready. How fast do you think this is going to go, Trev?
I reckon that'll do 90.
Wow, that's faster than Cal.
72.
Okay, I'll go in the middle. I'll go 81. All right, so let's rip it around and see just how fast we can do it. All right, Cal, you feeling good?
Feeling good.
Where'd you get your shirt from, by the way? Because I'm sure it says Wingman. People are going to ask about it.
Aloha Bowl swap meet in Hawaii.
Okay. All right, anyway, let's film this.
I don't know about this helmet, but this tree gives me a little bit of confidence.
I feel better, mate. I'm behind him.
Here we go. 74. 74. 78. 77. Oh, I thought you were going to ledrib me.
That was bloody smooth, even at those punches.
It sounds smooth, it's quiet.
All right, Cal, seeing you're the speed gun master, what did you think about the top speed of the Kopis? So what, I think it was it 77?
So 78 was the top. I think I said 73, but I kind of knew it was going to be on the low end because, you know, we're dealing with these T-motor airs.
Yep.
And, you know, I knew that you weren't going to get the power and speed out of them compared to what we just flew. So
he's talking about the, wherever it is, the other one. This bad boy, the Fury. So this one was slower than the Fury B 180.
it was.
No, not 180, Fury B X215.
But I got to say, it was smooth. very smooth, very quiet. It looked pretty controllable.
Yeah, I would say in the straight out speed, this one was really not docile, just really really smooth and predictable when you're flying around. Yeah, it was cool. Very, very nice to fly. Thanks, Cal. Alrighty, so there it is. There's my part 2 review with a Holybro Kopis, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to link it down below. And I guess to sum it up, boil it down, is this a good quad? Absolutely. It doesn't get set up out of the box. Totally. It is so easy to pick this thing up, take it out, fly it around. It feels fantastic on the sticks. It's got plenty of poke. Look, it's not the most powerful quadcopter out there, but it's still got more speed than most pilots can handle. You can really rip this thing around, but is it perfect? And I'm going to say no. Like, number one, the camera protection. Unfortunately, we smashed our lens, and look, that was an issue I had in part 1. I might have just got unlucky with the crash, but I'm sure that better camera protection would have helped. And then number 2, we've got to talk about the price. So for 300 bucks, it's really running up against some stiff competition. And I think Trev summed it up best when he said, would you prefer 2 Fury Bee X215 Pros or one of these? And you know, 300 bucks at twice the price as one of those bad boys, it's getting up there with some stiff competition. And even things getting closer like Bind and Fly Chameleons, GT2s, all that sort of jazz. Look, I'm not saying that it's not worth it, it's just got some very stiff competition. So I guess that's up to you to decide. Do you want to spend more on a higher production quality? This really is a good quad, or would you be happier with like 80% of the way with some of the cheaper ones out there? Anyway, hope you guys liked that. Definitely subscribe for more FPV related content. Drop some comments down below. What do you think about the Holybro Kopis one? And as always, happy flying.
Cal, did you have a bad hair day when you did that selfie, mate?
Trevor, he's been holding that joke in for like 10 years. Good one, Grandpa. Alrighty, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Definitely subscribe if you're new to the channel and check out these videos. And I'm also going to leave a little link here to my Patreon page because I've got some fantastic Patreon supporters and I like to give back to them as well. So if you want to join the UAVfutures family, there's things like bonus Velcro straps, little bundles of FPV goodies and things like that that also get sent out. Anyway, happy flying.